Today, I want to walk you through a real CEO case study. This isn't a highlight reel or the before and after story designed to impress you. This is about leadership decisions and the kind of decisions that quietly determine whether growth feels empowering or exhausting. I'm sharing this one because it captures a moment I see over and over again with the really capable and experienced CEOs. They have that desire to grow without sacrificing sanity, team health, quality of life. And if you've ever thought, I want more, but not like last time, I guarantee this will feel familiar. So I was working with a CEO late in the year. It was busy season. The kids were busy counting down to Christmas. His team was trying to wrap all things up and shut down for the holidays and shut down till the new year. So like many leaders, he had a clear revenue goal in mind, $1.5 million. And on paper, the goal, it made a lot of sense. That he had the demand, the business had momentum, but internally something felt off. And instead of feeling energized by the goal, he felt heavy. And then he said the sentence that told me exactly where he was as a leader. I want to grow, he said, but I don't want to increase chaos. And that line really matters because that's the moment that someone stops chasing revenue and actually steps into thinking like the true and real CEO. So at first glance, it would be easy to say that the problem was his systems or his delegation, his departments, or maybe the way things get documented, or maybe it was the hiring. All those things were on the list, but none of them were the real problem. The real issue was this. The goals existed, but the structure to support them didn't yet. Too much of the business still lived in his head, and decisions were still being made reactively. Capacity had been stretched quietly through efficiency gains without leadership coverage increasing alongside of it. So technically nothing was broken, but the margin for error, it was shrinking. And that felt like a dangerous place to grow from. So instead of adding more to the plan, we actually slowed the thinking down. And the first thing we did was run the profit math. Because revenue goals without profit clarity, they're nothing more than expensive fantasies. So we looked at what growth would actually cost us, not just financially, but operationally. We looked at capacity before we commit. The business had grown without hiring, just by getting more efficient. And that's great until efficiency turns into pressure. So we asked the question, what leadership coverage would this level of growth require? Where would decisions bottleneck? And what roles needed ownership before they could scale? And then came a real breakthrough, and it was the sequencing. The CEO had strong goals, clear departments, good KPIs, standard SOPs, and really strong communication pathways. So the issue wasn't the goals, it was the order. So we turned a list into a sequence. The critical targets, the milestones, the action steps, and mapped it across all 4 quarters, logically. Because you can't delegate what isn't defined, and you can't scale what isn't already stabilized. And what shifted wasn't just the plan, but it was about how the business felt to lead. The revenue goal stopped feeling like pressure because in this resequencing, the decisions actually became clear. The execution slowed down in a good, logical way so that we could see that what might be considered fairy goals on the end, we actually had put the support in the early part of the year. So those fairy goals now became realistic because we sequenced. Now, the CEO now was not carrying everything in his head anymore. And the business knew what needed to come first. This provided the team with clear lanes, and it gave the opportunity for the leadership to actually stop relying on willpower. And let's be perfectly clear, nothing magical happened overnight, but the chaos didn't increase. And that was the win. That's when a business starts behaving like an asset and not like a job that follows you everywhere. This is what the real CEO work looks like. A revenue vision tied to a profit reality, growth tied to capacity, execution tied to sequencing, leadership tied to clarity and accountability. And if your plan mostly lives in your head, you don't have a plan. You have anxiety with a to-do list. And that fix isn't motivation, it's structure. And if you're setting goals right now and you feel resistance, pay attention, because that's not a mindset issue. That's a signal that the business needs a better container. And if you want help designing that structure, you can start with the free CEO tools linked below. And if you're ready to go deeper than that, the Tool Vault exists to support exactly this kind of thinking. Structure first, then growth.